What's up, everybody? We have Steven here, who's been in Major League Profit since about August, and right now, while we're speaking, it's May, so he's been in for about 8 or 9 months. He's done very well with the sports cards and sports arbitrage side of things, and he's here to tell you about his experience, what he's learned, mistakes he's made, things he's done well. But yeah, Steven, you want to introduce yourself, where you're from, what do you do, how'd you learn about us, give people the rundown?
Absolutely, guys. Yeah, my name is Steven Nunez. I am from a town in central Pennsylvania. Raised in Elizabethtown. Actually, born in New York. Raised in PA, and I saw Eric's ad through Facebook one night, and I was just up late night. I was always trying to look to do a little something on the side to stay involved with sports. I actually have a degree in sports management. I went to college out in Cal U near Pittsburgh, and for other reasons, I didn't stay on that path. Personal reasons that I stayed involved in sports. So when I saw this opportunity, I'm like, man, I've always done like things like DraftKings and stuff like that. That hasn't been a steady profit. Just like daily fantasy sports, trying to like monetize my love for sports and things like that. And I saw this as a very intriguing opportunity. I got involved, and it's been an enjoyable experience. Not just from the money side of it, but even within everybody in the Discord, the constant engagement. I'm glad to have it as a part of my daily routine and daily life, because it's starting to feel like a family, and I'm loving that. So.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm curious, when you first saw my face pop up on Facebook, what were your first thoughts? Were you like, this is a scam? Were you optimistic? Oh, I'm curious, what were your first thoughts?
Well, I'm like, man, that is one ugly face. No, I'm just
Yeah, I can't control it, man. I'm sorry.
no. No, yeah, I was skeptical. I think naturally, your mind is just taught to be skeptical. I actually had my Facebook like hacked a couple of years ago. And so, getting involved in anything like that, I
Yeah.
was naturally, you're naturally skeptical. But I made sure to read the details like after the masterclass program. And I was in a position financially where I wanted to shoot my shot somewhere to try to make a little bit of a profit and start developing some ROI. So I am kind of big on your philosophy, because I was someone that went to college. I got my degree. I didn't necessarily go that path of college, and so that resonated with me when you started to talk about that. Not calling college a scam or anything. It has.
I'll call it a scam.
I know you do. You're you lean in a little more on that than myself. But I advise anybody, if you do not know what you want to do, just don't go. Have a direction before you go.
Yeah.
Start making money before that. But yeah, so yeah, I needed to scratch that itch a little bit when I got involved, and seeing a lot of your principles and philosophies. Like I said, it resonated with me, and I'm like, let me give this thing a chance. It wasn't a lot to get in at first, and I wanted to just commit. I wanted to commit to something else, and try to make it happen. And during the COVID era, around the Luka, Ja, Zion, I kind of dipped my toes into buying up sports cards, but I didn't know what to do with them. I didn't know what direction to take it
Yeah.
next. I didn't understand the grading process. And then when I saw the education that you were providing, I was like, okay, this can be a great way to start to take that next step and go into this with a plan, with guidance. And it's been great, man. So.
Cool, cool. So you're working a job, you wanted to make a side income. So then tell me about that. So you got into the program, you didn't know much about sports cards, like I'm curious, like from then August when you joined till now, what are like some of the most surprising things you learned? Like don't feel free to hold back. Like I don't care. You could say whatever you want. You learned in the program, but like let it all loose.
um,
What are some of the things you learned where like, oh shit, like I never would have guessed this or thought this if I didn't have coaching or whatever. I'm curious, what are your biggest breakthroughs?
I think just how much certain conditions on the card can actually matter. Like, when I came in, I always had the perception that like you want to invest in a player, and it was based on like the long-term performance and investment of that player and how you make money. And I see now that's one way of going about it. But being understanding like that there's and I've learned this the hard way through some of this, but understanding that there's certain players that have, more hype in every sport where the ROI is going to be greater to invest in, and then evaluating the condition of those cards. Um, that what creates your greatest chance on the return versus buying low end prospects versus buying like secondary card brands, because I've done that. I've bought in some cards that I've taken a couple major losses on that has affected my total net return. And even I had a card specifically that gemmed a 10 that I lost like about $180 on, and it was because it was a low end prospect. Go ahead.
No,
But
no, go on.
oh yeah, it was just like Jake Cunningham from the Orioles, and I remember I was down in Mexico, and I got back from Matt, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I just lost $180. And when I checked with Joe, and he was like, you bought it a little early, and he's not a big prize guy. It was a Jake Cunningham out of 50 card. It was a 2023 Topps Chrome, and it was like, man, like you can't, like, just because you get the 10 doesn't mean you're going to profit every time unless you follow, all coaching and the steps to take. And I've taken some risks, and it's bitten me, but it's also been good for me to learn from it, to stay, in certain windows and, towards certain players
Yeah.
to maximize the money that I'm putting into it.
I'm curious, what single card have you made the most amount of money on? Like, how much did you make? What card was it? When did you buy it? How much did you buy it for? Like,
My best ROI, it was actually it was a Chet Hyper Prism that I bought. I bought it for 30. I sold it for like $108. That was a 4 times ROI. And then as far as the money that I've made the most on, I have a few that I had a Palo Banchero. It was actually my first card. It was a Palo Banchero Monopoly Gold out of 49. I bought it for 374, and then I sold it for 661. So that was a $270 profit. I had that Jordan Love optic. I made 210 profit on that, and then I had it was a what was the other one? It was a Pete Crow Armstrong Purple that I bought for 163, made 348. It was a 2020.
nice.
So yeah, so I haven't had like one massive hit yet. Like I haven't limited the amount, as far as like how expensive a card that I buy. Like I had a Wyatt Langford that was a Aqua that it was a PSA 9, and I paid 600, and I think it sold for 748. So I made a nice profit, and I was like, man, if that was the 10, that would have been like the one.
Yep.
I would
Yeah.
like eight. I was looking at comps like 1,800 to $2,000. And
Yeah.
so I haven't had that big one yet, but it's kind of been steady. Some up, some valleys and some dips and some
Yeah.
mountains that I've gone up and down. But overall, it's kind of been like a steady incline, and how I've made the money. So
Cool. And you want to talk about as well. So for those of you guys that don't know, we do something called sports betting arbitrage, where basically we show you how to take advantage of sports books and like make essentially guaranteed or risk-free money. I know you've been doing that. You want to talk about that? Like, what have you been doing in it? When did you start? How much money have you made? Like, give the rundown on that.
If you're enjoying the content of the video and want to learn how to make a side income with sports cards, I spent the past 3 months putting together a training to show you exactly how it's done in detail. Sports cards has allowed me to live a life beyond my wildest imagination, and I'm thankful for the hobby every single day. That is the reason I teach sports cards, and I'm so passionate about it. At the end of the training, we offer a paid program where you can work closer with me. However, I do not want you joining until you've watched the training I put together. It will show you exactly what's inside the program and how to make money with sports cards, and from there, you can make an educated decision. If you'd like to sign up for the training, either scan the QR code on the screen or text the word Eric to 973-755-9486, or click the link in the description. Just to repeat it, if you'd like to sign up and watch the training, scan the QR code or text Eric to 973-755-9486 or click that link in the description. Now let's get back to the video.
Yeah, with the arbitrage show, so I used to do like I had a buddy that he used to work at Parks Casino, and he started introducing me into the understanding on like a lot of these, casinos that want to bring people in. They throw you a lot of free money, and he was kind of giving me like safe plays on how to like turn over, net profit and return on like betting small, but kind of working through that free money and making, kind of once you make the profit and that free money becomes real money, you take it out, move on to the next one. Don't keep betting it, kind of. And so, I made a couple grand through the years doing that. And then when I saw Chad do it and I saw that there was like a tool with Odds Jam and then actually like even more offshore sites that I didn't even know about, that I haven't, how I like to put it, shoot my shot on using those tools when you have that initial, like promotional bonus that you buy in. It was like more opportunity for me, and I still haven't navigated through all of them. I had a big match that I was working through just with Bet US that Chad showed me. And shout out to Chad. He's been huge, very responsive. I can hit him up. He's responsive. So it's great. But yeah, just the way you see how different books do different lines, and you kind of bet them against each other and take those profits has been steady growth. And with the book that I've been using my match on, I'm sitting at over 2,400 right now in profits on it. And it would have been a book that I never even knew about had I
Yeah.
had I not even, had this not started this subsector of the program. So
When did you start doing the arbitrage stuff?
oh man, it was only like maybe a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. So it wasn't too long ago.
I'm
So
curious how long, like 2,400 in a month or two. How much time do you spend like per day or per week doing it?
not too long. I mean, um, maybe maybe like maybe like 4 to 6 hours. It's not a huge time investment, and I honestly like I could commit more time to it than I do, and probably even turn over quicker. But it's something that I can do on the side. It's not taxing, and it's easy way to make money. Just being
Yeah.
disciplined with it.
Easy money. Can't go wrong with those words, right?
Absolutely easy
Yeah.
money, baby.
Yeah, that's what when I tell people. It's funny because when I tell people about the arbitrage stuff, it like if you went up to the average individual and explain it to them, like it sounds too good to be true, right? It's
It
like
does.
risk-free money, make money right away. Like, what's the catch, right? And I tell people
Mhm.
like before joining the program, like, listen, I get it. I know you're skeptical. Just do it. Do it, and I'll text you in 3 days, and I'll be like, aha, I told you so. Just do it. Um, so yeah,
I tell people, man, I don't gamble. I take calculated risks. Like
yeah.
that's
But honestly, with this, there's no risk. Like we use the word sports betting,
true.
but we're not betting. There's no risk,
Yeah,
right? We're just taking advantage of an inefficiency in a market. That's all we're doing. It's arbitrage. It's free
that's
money,
a
for lack
that's
of
a
a better
great way
term.
of putting it. That's a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
way of putting it.
Yep. But yeah, I can't tell you how many people like have come into the program and like they talked with me first, and they were like, I'm gonna join the program, but I don't believe you that this is possible. I'm like, okay, just do it. You'll see. And then they
Yeah.
do it, and they make a few grand the first month. They're like, holy shit, this is crazy. It happens very frequently. But cool. Well, it sounds like things are going well for you, and I'll leave you off with this question.
Okay.
So there's a few ways I can go with this, but I'll go with this question. What, like, if you had to go back in time to when you first started the program, with the
hmm
brain you have now, with everything you've learned,
hmm
what would you do? What would you do different? What do you think? What would you like? What advice would you give to yourself when you first started? And don't just say listen to the coaches. Come up with something better.
No, no, no. I wish I would have stayed more disciplined with my time management and my consistency to my commitment to the program. That would be, it wouldn't so much be in anything in how I did it. I just altering that my like daily routine of just using my free time to get on, get on my laptop instead of my phone, get on eBay instead of Facebook, YouTube, all that.
Yeah.
I wish there were those windows where I would have stayed more um, disciplined in my consistency. And I probably would be at a better spot than I'm at now. And just altering those habits. I heard a quote from a guy last week. He said, if you keep, um, if you, if you keep cheating on you're gonna, don't keep cheating on your future by dating your past. Keep by continuing to date your past, and like that's, um, like altering I feel like that can be applied even in here. Just the way certain habits that you have, find more positive, more healthy habits to be able to like that translates into the program and um, doing being able to kind of have a more disciplined routine, because
Yeah.
that's something I think I took a little bit for granted at the start.
Yeah, yeah, it's good you say
Did
that.
this.
Quick, I guess brings up a quick story about me. So when I was 17, I had the only girlfriend I ever had. Snapchat was a
Yeah.
big thing, right? And
Hmm.
and I'm telling you this because whoever's listening to this and yourself, this helped me a lot, like advance in life. So, right, I made a Snapchat senior year of high school, right? You add all your friends, right? And I was in bed one night doing what any 17-year-old would, not like that, just going through, right?
Maybe like that.
Looking at everyone's story, right? And everyone's like posting, I'm having
Mhm.
fun doing this and doing that. And I just remember looking at myself and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I looking at what all these other people are doing? Like, this is such a great waste of time. And
Yeah.
then a few months after that, I was introduced to sports cards. And instead of being on I always tell people this, people are like, how have you like built this business and like done all this shit and work for yourself? And I tell them like, honestly, if you just did this every time you go on Instagram or Facebook and TikTok, right? All these apps are addicting. And the minute you
Yeah.
go on there and you start scrolling and you have this trigger in your brain, you're like, wait, I could be being productive right now. So I've
Mhm.
substituted every single minute or hour the average person has been on Instagram or TikTok or wherever. And I'll be either A, put it towards learning business, or when I was younger, buying sports cards. Like every time I would go on Facebook, I'd be like, wait, or like, actually, I bought a lot of sports cards on Facebook, but let's say I would go on Instagram to like scroll and like look at hot models or whatever, look at like funny
Sure.
memes, right? I'd be like,
Sure.
I'd cut myself off after 30 seconds, be like, wait, I could be being productive right now. And I would go to eBay or Facebook and start doing actual productive stuff. So and it's easier said than done, right? Because like these
It
apps are
is.
addictive, right? Of
It
course.
is.
Um, but if you just like train your brain for that, like it'll put you miles ahead of people because people just like zombies, right? They just spend their whole lives looking at all this social media stuff. And it's ironic because I make my money through social media. um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, that's a nice little hack. Easier said than done, but yeah.
Absolutely. And before we go, Eric, I do want to say one more thing because early on, you know, with Joe with the coaching side, there were times where I would send him like a string of cards, 10 to 12 to 15 cards, and they would all get rejected in some way. And sometimes that was discouraging to me, and I wasn't handling that well. And sometimes it would lead to like knee-jerk reaction on certain cards that I would purchase even without his guidance. And I paid for it. And I bring that up because I want to actually touch on the stats. Like I took some stats down on like
Oh,
cards
let's hear it.
that I've
Let's hear it.
yeah, that I've submitted through coaching from Joe and the cards that I submitted without the coaching through Joe.
Oh yeah.
So up to this point, I have had 63 cards graded total. Cards that have been coached by Joe that have submitted. Um, I've had 44 of them that were cards that I sent to coach. They're coach that were graded.
Okay.
29 of those cards have graded a 10. So that
Solid.
60%, 66% ROI.
That's the goal.
Of the 19 cards that I have sent, either going rogue, either my own collection, either I'm just frustrated and just didn't go through the program properly. Of those 19 cards, you want to take a guess at how many of those have gem to 10?
1,
You're close. 2.
2. Oh
For
my
an,
God.
for
That's
for an
bad.
11% success rate.
Yep,
So
that is it's funny you say that because that's actually something we deal with like in the program. Like one of the things that discourages students in the beginning is like in the beginning, right? You're gonna stink, right? Even though there's videos and we speed up your learning curve, it's like this. Imagine you've never shot a basketball, and I'm here showing you, look, put your elbow in, elbow here. This is how to shoot. Even if I show you how to do it, you're still gonna stink, right? You need to do it a few times, and you get better and better, right? I'm just here to show you how to shoot a free throw, which you can get good at shooting free throws in 1 month instead of like 2 years doing it yourself, right? That's why you pay for a program. That's the point of coaching. But yeah, I'll tell Joe to listen to that. He'll enjoy that. That'll be a nice ego boost for him.
absolutely, man. Learn the principles and the techniques before you go trying to apply them. Like that's
Yeah, and I tell people, man, you have a coach. I hired these people myself. I know they're experts. Just piggyback off of them. Just do what
Yep.
they say. I know sometimes it's not so easy to just do what they say. But if you just do what they say, like just do what Chad says, do what Joe says, do what any of the sports car coach says. You do well, make money. But
Absolutely,
yeah,
man.
sometimes people go rogue. But anyways,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I'll upload this to the Discord. I'll probably throw this on YouTube, maybe later this week or next week. But I appreciate it, Steven. If I'm sure you may get messages on like Instagram or Discord. People might find you and say, dude, how did you do this? Can you tell me? So watch out for those. But I appreciate it, Steven. Thank you so much for coming on.
Sounds good, Eric. Thanks, man.